Happy Self-Love Saturday, whoop whoop. This is a storytime Self-Love Saturday, all about how and why I started my self-love journey. It has been about 3-4 years, I think, that I've had this channel. Self-Love Saturday has just become such a huge part of it, but I don't know if a lot of you guys know the why this thing became what it is and why self-love is very important to me and just where I was when I started it. I was living in New York, 2012, 2013, 2011. I was in this relationship and I was in love and so happy, but there was a part of me that was also miserable, equally miserable. I was in a new location, new everything, and I also didn't have very many friends. I really only had my boyfriend at the time, and that can feel like a lot. Got to a plateau or a stuck point, more so in my career, just didn't know what or where or anything that I should be doing. The year before that, 2010, I had released this album called 54321 that I loved. I loved everything about it. I loved the process, loved everything. So even though there was this relationship that I was very happy with and I was excited for the change in environment to go to New York, I was equally as lost and confused and all of these things. So I started to put all of my eggs into my relationship basket. Okay, this is it. This is where God wants me to be. He wants me to be a really good girlfriend and try really hard, and that's what he wants. That's what he's hoping for me. This is how I was feeling, okay? It's easy to do this in a relationship, to just be oh, I'm gonna give my all to this person and forget to feed yourself. So that is what started to happen. Around this time is also when I discovered that I had PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. You guys can look back. I have older videos talking about this. I was gaining weight. I was unsure of myself. I started to feel super down, but I was in this relationship. This person should be helping me to not feel this way, even though I'm feeling this way. I was also not using my creative gifts at the time. I was kind of just in New York and lost. At the same time, like I said, I was gaining all this weight, and I met with this nutritionist, and she said something to me. She was ground your heart. I did this play called It Takes a Village, and I remember going to the audition, and I was just overwhelmed on this day. This character had to cry at some point. I don't even know if she had to cry, but she just had an intense kind of moment. I broke down in the audition. I was oh my gosh. I obviously booked it because they just were wow, you're really into the character. Little did they know I was struggling. So I did this play, and that reminded me that I loved acting and that I loved being an actress and that I am supposed to act. You know, sometimes what happens to you is as an actor is you'll go through dry spells where it's you just might not be booking, or it might not be working, or I don't know, you just have outgrown whatever it is that you're doing, and it can really scare you and shake you. So all of this is happening to me when I'm in New York, and I'm feeling very frustrated. I used to have all these dreams about painting, endless dreams about painting, and my boyfriend at the time literally had to buy me a full painting set because I was so miserable. Ground your heart. At the time, that just really stood out to me. And that was what I started to paint. I started to paint just pictures of hearts and trees and nature and flowers and just grounding my heart as much as possible. I physically, emotionally, I wanted to also see it, just what that meant to me. So it was one of those moments that it kind of made me have a temporary sit back and recognize that I wasn't that happy and that something was going on with me that I couldn't quite put my finger on. And then me and my boyfriend at the time, we broke up, and I was overwhelmed again, but it also was the beginning of my self-love journey. I was comfortable in my insecurities. I was comfortable in my discomfort and thought that this was just the life I was supposed to lead, and that things outside of me were supposed to fix it and not me. My boyfriend's supposed to fix it, and a job is supposed to fix it, and my career is supposed to fix it, and not just that if I fixed me, these things would dramatically change. That was step one. Started to research, heavily research self-love. I did a play and a movie, and at the time I went back to Toronto to do both of these things, and in this period I changed my diet. I did a 30-day juice fast, which was 5 days on of juicing, 5 days on of just eating fruits and vegetables. And I did that for 30 days and I lost a bunch of weight. I felt way better about myself, and everything about me started to change. My hair started to change, my physique started to change, my attitude started to change. And at the same time, I was researching like crazy. Like before I would go to bed, I was literally just looking up like top 10 ways to love yourself, top 10 ways to gain more confidence, top 10 ways to feel better about myself, top 10 ways to combat depression, top 10 ways to be my best self, to live up to my potential. Like these were the words. I was literally typing them into Google and just reading people's posts. I was desperate for a change, desperate for something new, and I just knew that the only person who was gonna do that was me. Also in this time period, I stopped waiting for changes to happen outside of me, and I came up with Black Actress. I had Black Actress for years, the idea of it, but I was fearful of like putting the wheels in motion and getting it going. And so New York is what made me say, do this, do it, do it, do it, you can do it. And that was also equally as much a part of my self-love journey, because I was finally stepping into my own light. It was the most fulfilling project I had ever done in my whole life. And it really made me comfortable with saying, I am a creative. I do creative work. I am a creative person, and this is the fruit of my labor. So that plus researching like crazy how to live to my potential is what was happening. How I started doing it on YouTube was from the play that I did in Toronto. One of my producers was this beautiful woman who I would notice would talk very negatively about herself. Like whenever we were gonna take a group picture or something, she'd be like, put me at the back, or I don't like what I'm wearing, like just negative talk. And it felt so familiar to me and also so uncomfortable to me. I recognized that I did that. I was that person. I would say these negative things out loud, and I don't know who I was hoping was gonna make me feel better about myself, but I would do it. Indirectly, I made my first self-love video about her. Embracing your natural beauty, because like I said, I saw her as this beautiful, gorgeous woman, and to hear her talk so negatively about herself was jarring. But it made me say, I know some things now about self-love, because at this point I was like 6-7 months into the process of self-love, and I can speak on this. And so that's what made me do it. You guys were super receptive to it, and that's just what made me continue. Last week, I met a girl at a Bible study, and she just was emotional and telling me about how much she loves Self-Love Saturday and all of these kind of things. And every now and again, I meet people like that. I meet somebody that will tell me how much Self-Love Saturday means to them, how much it changed their perspective, how encouraging it's been to them, all of those kind of things. And you guys know, I try to put up a variety of videos as much as possible to show you that this self-love thing is not easy. And even for me, I have doubts all of the time. I have doubts about myself. I have doubts just about even doing Self-Love Saturday videos, period. Then I get little moments like that, and it makes me remember, and it makes me recognize why I started this thing in the first place. I'm getting emotional myself. I think it's very important to always remember where you started. It will keep you going to where you want to go. The beginning of this journey was so important to me and so pivotal in having me step into my light, step into my place, step into where it is that I belong and where I want to be. And it's the same force that has been keeping me here. It's the same force that's been keeping me going. It is the same thing that's been in the forefront of my mind. So this is a Self-Love Saturday on the history of why and how I started Self-Love Saturday. Tell me your story on Self-Love Saturday, where you are at in your process, where you are at in your journey, and what gave you that aha moment that you needed to do something more in your life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye guys.